Hello everyone and welcome to the Family Work. I've been meaning to make this video for over 2 years now and I've just been putting it off, and I actually just made this video. I did it all in one take. It was about a half hour long, and then apparently I lost sound halfway through it. So now I get to redo it, and I'm probably not going to try to do it in one take. I might break it up in a couple segments just to make sure that the audio is working right. I'm a little rusty on this thing, so we'll see how it goes. But I we became Club Wyndham owners 2 years ago, and I just wanted to tell everybody about our experience. And maybe you're thinking about getting a timeshare, whether it be Club Wyndham or one of the other companies, or maybe you already are owner and you would get some joy out of hearing other people's misery, their miserable experiences. Um, then I just want to kind of tell everybody our experience. And maybe it's not the same for everybody, but this is just our journey of what we went through. So, first off, I'm at actually Club Wyndham Resort right now. We're at Glacier Canyon, Wisconsin Dells. And most of the family is down at, I think the wave pool is the water park they're at. They might even be coming back here soon. I got one little guy bouncing my chair that I think wants to be in the video. He wasn't feeling well. Are you going to come up here, Ty? No, I guess not. So he may come back by here. But I thought this would be a good opportunity while I have a few moments. I don't have any notes, and I regret not looking up these fees I'm going to talk about, the actual numbers and the cost, so I can't give you the real numbers. I used to have all this memorized because we had gone through it not too long ago, but I've kind of tried not to remember the experience because it doesn't bring about a lot of good positive feelings. So let me give you a little background context. My parents, we grew up, we had RCI ownerships, which was week-long timeshares. So I'm familiar with the timeshare concept. They actually, after we got married, they gifted us some of the weeks, and we paid on them for a few years. We actually weren't even really able to use them. And eventually, once we did use them, we went ahead and tried to sell them. Of course, they're not really worth anything, so we pretty much gave it away. We paid the maintenance fee in the beginning of the year, and then sold it for pretty much what the maintenance fee was. So that's one thing. If you're looking for a timeshare, if you ever hear anybody say, it's an investment or it always holds its value because the cost is always going to increase, that may be true, that the cost is always going to increase, but there's no tangible value to a timeshare at all. And if you just Google timeshares for sale, you'll see there's thousands of them that people are trying to get rid of for $1, or probably even give them to you. They're not an investment. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but it's not like a house. You have a mortgage on that house. The house is going to contain value. A timeshare, not so much. So even with that being said, now the reason people like timeshares and are attracted to them, and the reason we always use them, and the reason I like them now is because we're a family of 5. And when we go on vacation, if you're staying in a hotel, I mean, $100, $150, $200 a night, even if you're getting like a suite that has like a king-size bed and a room, and then you kind of got like a room with a couch and a pull out and maybe a little kitchenette area, to have that as your home base for like a week, you're not going to want to stay there. I mean, it's just a place to sleep for the most part, and then go explore, do whatever in the area that you're at. However, the reason we like timeshares is you can get multi-bedrooms. Like this place we're in right now, it's a 3-bedroom unit. It sleeps, I think, 10 or 12 people. We have a full-size kitchen and dining area. So it's a place where we can have our individual space without driving each other crazy, especially after a long car ride. And if you're in a desirable area, destination area, touristy area, you can go explore, you can go to the sites. But for the most part, a lot of these properties have amenities on site. They have good, decent playgrounds. They have splash parks, or in our case here, a water park. Definitely going to have some type of pool. Um, has been our experience. And there's just going to be things to do here. Now, granted, you may not necessarily stay here the entire stay. This week, we actually are. The wilderness, which is where we're at, Glacier Canyons, the Wyndham part. There's a wilderness in the Smokies, and the same developer built one here in the Dells. And there's a hotel, and there's like cottages, and then the part of the property we're at, one of the buildings or units is owned by Club Wyndham. So every room in that building is for owners of Club Wyndham. There's additional buildings. I think they're set up the same way, but maybe they're through a different company. I'm not sure. We don't have availability or access to those buildings. But it's nice because everything, like right now, we're in the middle of a blizzard. It's supposed to be negative 40 degree wind chill tomorrow. You can go to any of the three indoor water parks they have without ever going outside. So that's really nice. And then also inside they have like this huge 3 or 4 story playground. They have laser tag, miniature golf, 3-level ropes course, go-karts. There's all kinds of stuff to do here without ever having to leave. So all that, I'm sorry, I meant to get all into that in a different video that I'm going to be doing, which I also am going to have to reshoot now because I realized we were having audio problems. So we knew what a timeshare was. And about 2 years ago during COVID, we had the opportunity as a family to take our first vacation together. And I don't think since the kids were born we had been on vacation, especially once we bought the campground. We just never had time or the money to do that. And we were blessed. We had some friends gift us some tickets to Disney World. So we were thinking about staying at the park, but again, with a family of 5 and a little hotel room, it's just not comfortable. So we did this timeshare deal, you know, one of those 3-day, 2 nights. It was actually like a house in a development down on the south side of Kissimmee, and in exchange for doing their 90-minute sales pitch. So we did that. We went down there, and we did the tour there at Bonnet Creek, which is Club Wyndham's like premier property. They use it in a lot of their promotional material. It's right there across from Disney Springs, what used to be downtown Disney. It's literally on Disney property, I believe. If not, it's right across the street. And they have, I don't know, 6 or 7 pools, lazy rivers, water slides. They have a lot of that stuff there too. So it's a really nice property. You go in, you do your video presentation, and then they pair you up with someone, your salesperson, and then they take you upstairs, they do a tour, they show you, hey, this is what a typical 2-bedroom unit looks like, which for us was great. I think it was a king-size bed in one room with a master bath in it, and then in the other bedroom, I think it was like 2 queens, and they had a bathroom, full bath as well. And then you had a big open area with a sofa bed and a full-size kitchen, dining area. Which is great for, you know, a family of our size. And then they take you across the hall and they show you a similar layout. It's a 4-bedroom, except you're going to have duplicate master suites on each side, and then you have the 2 additional bedrooms. And in the middle area, it's much bigger. There's a pool table and just huge dining area. And I don't know, it probably sleeps at least 12 people. It's, if not more, huge. It was impressive. I don't know if we would have ever used it, but I asked the salesperson, because I was familiar with RCI and their weeks exchange program. Club Wyndham does a point system. So I said, okay, I need some scale. Give me an idea. What does a unit like this cost? And the salesperson said, well, for 100,000 points, you can get the 2-bedroom for a week. I go, okay, is that prime, you know, during peak season, or is it in the off season or shoulder season? And he said, no, pretty much any time of the year, you could book this. As long as that's available, you could book this. 100,000 points would be enough. And then I said, well, what about across the hall, the 2-bed or 4-bedroom? And he said, well, that would be 200,000 points, which makes sense. It's twice the size. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if we want to come to Bonnet Creek once a year for just our family, I need 100,000 points. Or we could skip a year, bank the points, and then if we had family with us, we could either do two-bedroom units or one 4-bedroom unit for 200,000 points. Am I understanding that correctly, sir? Yes. Okay, perfect. And it doesn't matter what time of year. Sometimes it may be cheaper than others, but that will be enough points. Yeah. Okay. Line number 1, which I'll get into in a few minutes here. So it didn't matter if it was 10 points or 10 million points. It's irrelevant. I just needed to know how many points to buy if this is what we wanted to do. So after we do the tour, we come back downstairs, and then, we find out about all these different perks and, this Wyndham rewards, and you can use a credit card and get free maintenance fees and sidekick program and get discounted travel on all your hotels and cruises. And now it's travel and leisure, and there's always all this extra stuff, which really has nothing to do with your timeshare, but it's just kind of like extra incentive for purchasing with them. And then we finally get down to numbers. I'm like, okay, so I already know how many points I need if I want to take a vacation here this frequently, like once a year. Now, what's that going to cost? And they go through everything, and I forget what the price was at the time, the ratio dollar per point, but it came up to like $20-some thousand. I want to say it was like 26,000, somewhere around there, which for us, there's just no way we could do that. And plus the maintenance fee on top of that. So in 2020, something weird happened. We had money, cash, showing up that we had not expected, we had not planned for, we had not budgeted for, but we just had this cash start appearing in our bank account. And it was almost like somebody was throwing money out of a helicopter. And because later in the year, because we had kids, they felt we needed even more money. So we had all this excess cash that we weren't expecting, we didn't ask for in our account. And that's probably a bad idea to go into the sales presentation in that scenario, but that's where we were. So we liked the idea. This was our first vacation, and it felt great to be able to get away and spend some time with the family and not be consumed with the business. And we were hoping that we were coming into a season where we would be able to do more of that. So we've tried Airbnbs before, and which they're nice, but you're usually not in like a resort area. You may have like a swimming pool or something, but you're not going to be right in prime location. You're not going to have all the amenities, and they're fairly expensive. So, and then you have the hotels, which even again with the suite, you're still kind of cramped in there, and you may have some amenities, but you're not going to have like a water park or splash park in our experience, unless you're paying an ultra premium for it. So for that reason, timeshare was very tantalizing, I guess, to us because of the room that it offers for you to stay in, the amenities, the location. It's just a matter of, does it make fiscal sense? So they had told us we needed this many points, it was going to cost this much. And we said, I'm sorry, there's just no way we can do that. So they went to go get our free, I don't even remember if it was a gift card or tickets to one of the parks or a free steak and lobster dinner, or whatever it was. They went to go get it. And then they returned. Oh, actually, forgive me. Now that I'm redoing this and without my notes, I've forgotten a couple things. So line number 1 was how many points it was going to take to book that room at Bonnet Creek. Line number 2, with Club Wyndham, your maintenance fees never increase. You're locked in. This is your monthly fee for us. I can't remember what they were trying to pitch it to us, but that was going to be locked in if we purchased that day. And that was new. That was very interesting because that was one of my complaints previously. It's just it always went up. I mean, I didn't expect it to go down, but at least stay flat for a while, and every year it'd always go up. So with them, your maintenance fees didn't go up. So that was very interesting. And then the third lie from this guy was, I said, okay, I know Club Wyndham, you're a partner with Margaritaville, you got Worldmark, you got RCI's 3,500 resorts, you got all these different resorts. Tell me about fees, charges, hidden fees, nickel and dime. Tell me about what is this going to cost? Because you're telling me how much it's going to cost for me to buy these points. You're telling me how much it's going to cost for my maintenance fees every year. But now this is the other stuff I want to know. oh, it's great. Yeah, if you go to a WorldMark or whatever, there's a fee that you got to pay. If you roll over your Club Wyndham points to RCI, that's free. But then when you go to redeem them, you have to pay a fee. But as long as you're going to stay in any of our 60, 80, whatever Club Wyndham resorts, you just show up, you check in. There's no fees, there's no charges, there's no nothing because you're an owner. So that um, wasn't necessarily positive or negative. It was just I was asking for the information, so I wouldn't be surprised later on. But that turned out to be a very big lie number 3. So, anyways, once we got the price, $25, $6, $8,000 for the points they wanted to sell us, we were like, no. And then they tried to talk us down. We're like, okay, well, what if you did half the points and then you only vacation every other year? It'd be this amount. And we were like, no, we're just not interested. So they go get us our reward. He comes back. Oh, line number 4. Okay, so I know people are trying to get out of timeshares. I know people are being foreclosed on timeshares. If at some point, because we're cash buyers, if at some point we want to sell this, will Club Wyndham buy it back from us? No, we don't buy back. Okay. So do you have like classifieds, or do you have inventory that you're trying to resell that have been foreclosed on or whatever that may be discounted off what you're trying to sell us? No, we don't do any of that. We don't resell. We don't do that. You can just buy what we're offering now is what we have. And I was like, all right, that surprises me because I know there's going to be excess inventory that people have already bought that is coming back to the company or whatever. And I know there's a third party market on the internet. I was sitting there on my phone looking at all these timeshares available for $1 a piece. However, if you buy any of those, you're not going to be in the system with all the perks and the advantages. You're going to own the points, but you're not going to, as far as VIP status and stuff like that, doesn't necessarily cross over. So yeah, it's a lot cheaper, but that's a whole nother video series. But that was line number 4. So he comes back and, hey, I just spoke with my boss, my manager, and today only we just had this show up. Somebody upgraded, and now, we bought back this, which you just told me you didn't do. But now we're able to offer you essentially the exact same product, the same amount of points, but we're also going to give you bonus, double, a couple 100,000 points as a gift if you sign today. And your maintenance fees are going to be locked in at $52 or whatever they were. And now it's only going to cost you $14,000. So we were ready to go. We liked the product, but it's just too expensive. Well, now we're going to get an extra couple vacations out of it from the bonus miles. Because of that, we were going to have VIP status for a couple years, which gives us all these other incentives, free upgrades and stuff, free room upgrades. So, and it was half the price. So we did like a quick little napkin math, and we're like, if we went to a hotel, a decent hotel, you're looking at $150, especially the taxes and fees, $200 a night. If you did a Airbnb, you're looking at $1,500 or so for a week at least. And again, you're not getting any amenities with it. So if our maintenance fees were $600 to $700 a year, if we're paying 14 grand, over 10 years, that's about $2,000 a year. If we're able to take a week-long vacation, or even if we break it up and maybe get 2 vacations out of it every year for $2,000, if we can have a 2-bedroom unit with amenities, that's a fair price. So we felt, especially with the bonus points on top of it, and then they have the last-minute getaways you can do that they talk about. You just pay a little fee, and you don't use any points, but you have access to them. So we're like, we have this cash sitting here. We really want to start having some time as a family away from the business. And one of their sales pitches, have your bucket list. What do you want to do? But now, by becoming an owner, you force yourself to vacation. You force yourself to take time off. I mean, that's kind of like joining the gym on New Year's Day. Yeah, you pay every month because you're going to force yourself to work out, but it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you're still paying for it, but that doesn't mean you're going to utilize it. So, given that information, we went ahead and said, okay. And 8.5 hours, 9 hours later, our 90-minute sales pitch turned out to be a whole day adventure. They had snacks and sodas, but we were hangry by the time it was done. But we purchased. And we knew in Florida there was I can't remember if it was 7-day or 10-day, maybe even 2-week buyer's remorse law for timeshares that you can back out of it. So we kind of had that in the back of our mind, if we change our mind. But no, we left feeling good and we went home feeling fine. Now, especially because of COVID, they were doing everything electronically. So you didn't really walk away with anything. You had a little flash drive of your documents, but you couldn't access any inventory or anything till you get set up. They call you and they get you set up, and I think through email with passwords and everything to their website, which is where you get to book your vacations, you get to search for availability, you get to look up the properties and all that kind of stuff. So we did this kind of the end of October 2020. We get home, get set up right around November, and of course it's after that grace period time frame. We've already passed that. We get set up. I go online, and I'm having trouble finding anything for vacation because I'm looking for the next year. And our points didn't even kick in till that January. And then I've learned, and I'm still learning, and that's in my second video I'll talk about, depending on where you own, what type of status you are, what time of year it is, there's so many variables to determine what availability you get if you're a Club Wyndham owner. So even like this property has that day, like there's rooms available, they may not be available to you. They may be available to this other Club Wyndham owner, but not to you, because they're a logarithm of when it's available to you. It's just, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, there's no simple answer for sure. They try to give it one to you, but I've searched long enough, and something could be available one day and it's not the next, and then you come back and then it is again. So it can be frustrating, but you don't have access to any of that when you're trying to buy. So now we're there, or I'm at home, I'm looking stuff up, and we're looking, I'm like, hey, what does Bonnet Creek look like if we want to go back to Orlando or Kissimmee next year? And there's no availability whatsoever. Now, again, part of that might have been because of where we were and our status and the time of year and everything like that. So I call, and I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to figure out, what's available, or at least if it's not available, how many points is it? So I know, because we got all these bonus points, and maybe we want to splurge and get the 4-bedroom unit or take family with us or some friends. So they said, well, you can't really find out how much it is unless it comes available, but there are like predetermined point values for each property, each resort property. And they could have told us this the day we bought, because this is existing. They even have these printed out on paper, but in the website you can see it. And when I saw that, I could not believe my eyes what I was seeing. I called them and I said, hey, I'm looking at Bonnet Creek here, and I'm looking at like a Friday night, and for like a 1-bedroom or whatever, it was 45,000 points a night. And I said, when we purchased, they said that 2-bedroom was 100,000 a week at any week during the year, even during peak season. And the person on the other end of the phone just started laughing uncontrollably. Like they just could not believe what I just said. And they're like, no, sir, no. There's no way you could get a 2-bedroom for 100,000 points any time of the year for a week. Maybe a weekend, but no, not for a week. And I'm like, I still might have purchased the timeshare, but tell me how many points. Again, it didn't matter how many points it was, just tell me so I knew. So now I'm like disappointed because we didn't buy enough points to stay there at Bonnet Creek. And I later learned that is a sales technique. They will undersell you points, hey, today buy 84,000 points, and you get bonus points or whatnot. Well, 84,000 points isn't going to get you a week anywhere. It could be Timbuktu. You're not going to get a week there. So now after you're frustrated, you can't book a vacation. there and you're already stuck in it, you already own it, then the sales technique is, well, we just need to upgrade you. We just need to give you more points and bonus points and this and that. And for a few extra $1,000, now you'll be able to have more vacation. So I learned that, didn't know at the time, but that's one of the sales techniques they use. So I discovered that the points, the lie number one, that's not how many points it takes to stay at Bonnet Creek, or anywhere for that matter. Now there are some places, yeah, it's 30,000, or depending on the time of year, 25,000 a night on a weekday. I learned that as well. Sunday night through Friday morning, Thursday night is the cheapest. If you're going to stay a Friday night or Saturday night, usually staying the weekend costs as many points as staying the whole first 5 days. So now we do all of our vacations Sunday through Friday to save the point value. Let's see. So that was a lie. Then I started seeing, and once we were logged into our account and everything, I came across something that said housekeeping credits. I'm like, what is that? Never came up in our conversation, housekeeping credit. So I had to call and find out what it was. And you have so many per year, and if depending on your VIP status, you can get more. Essentially, how many points you've purchased determines how many of these you get for free. But once you use those and you need more, and forgive me because I didn't write this down, I think it's $199 for housekeeping credit. So if you stay one night, usually it's a 2-night minimum, but you stay 2 nights in a property and you're out of housekeeping credits, you're going to pay $200 to stay there, plus whatever points it costs. To make that reservation, you can go online and you can click it, you find something available, you click on it, you have reservation credits. If you're out of those, it's $19. If you call them up and say, hey, find me a property, or this week I want to go, $39. They tout, even just this week during our presentation, our owner update presentation, they use the example, well, this family, they book a week in Branson every spring break and they book a week in Myrtle Beach because they don't know where the weather is going to be good, and then they decide last minute because you can cancel, no penalty. Well, yes and no. So if you're booking 2 vacations the same week, you're paying that $19 or $39 fee if you're out of your credits. And then let's say you need to change your reservation if you want to come in a day late or stay an extra day. You have to pay that reservation fee again. So yeah, there's no penalty to cancel it, but to change the reservation, or if you don't use that reservation, you're still paying that fee, that reservation fee, transaction fee. So that was another fee that was not disclosed. See, housekeeping, reservation, and then one other thing was, we thought, if we had all these bonus points, maybe we'd be able to bless some of our employees or our friends with vacations, especially if it's like a last-minute getaway, because with VIP status, those are discounted, so it uses less points. Well, you're given so many like non-owner reservations. So if you're having family or friends or whoever, if you're gifting it to somebody, they can show up. You don't have to be there. If you run out of those credits or you don't have any of those credits, it's another, and I used to know this, so please forgive me for not knowing it. It's another $129, $39. I mean, I don't know, it might have been $89. I'm so sorry. I should have written all this down. I might do a follow-up video when I'm on the computer and I have all these fees in front of me. But all that's to say, if you go through your credits or you don't have enough and you book a vacation for somebody that's not you, you're going to have a reservation fee, a house cleaning fee, a non-owner fee, plus it's going to cost you your points. So a 2-night vacation or stay could cost $400 plus all your points. Going back to the presentation, so tell me about, the fees, any hidden fees. Oh, there are none. As long as you're at one of our properties, there's no additional fees. Not true. And I guess you could say that it is kind of true. As long as you have credits, you're not paying any of that. But none of that. In the 8.5 hours we were there, housekeeping fee, reservation fee, non-owner fee, none of that was ever brought up once. And I'm sure in the 20-page document that they scrolled through and we clicked on it, I'm sure it probably said it on there somewhere. And that's our fault for not reading the 10,000 words as they were scrolling through. But what are you going to do? Well, that's the thing. What are you going to do? If you are watching this video and you just purchased, knowing the state's law wherever you purchased at, you have like a buyer remorse period, a couple days that you can get out of it. You still may have to have something notarized and overnight it, and you know, another $40 of cost to get out of it. But we didn't even have access to that information until we were already past that period. And we paid cash. So now you walk away from there and you might maybe put down a couple $100 down payment if they even ask for a down payment, and you're financing it. So you may not have a lot of skin in the game for your timeshare. You know, you're just paying the monthly fee. So if you walk away from it, I mean, it's a foreclosure on your credit score or whatever, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Well, we paid cash, $14,000+ for it. So, as far as their exit strategy, or that I asked about, and that they do resell, they don't buy them back from you. I mean, you can give it to them. That is the exit strategy. You just gift it. And it doesn't go away if you die. Your kids inherit. If you owe 30 grand on this timeshare, and you pass away, whoever your heirs are, they assume this debt. You know, it's going to be their monthly maintenance fee is going to be wrapped around their neck forever until they give it away or default on it. I mean, that's why there's a whole industry for timeshare exits, because there's so many people that got stuck in these things and now they can't get out of it, and they're paying somebody to help them get rid of it. Not like, hey, sell it for me and let me get some money back. No, they're going to lose everything. Every monthly payment they ever made, or if they paid in cash like us, they're going to lose all of that. Plus, they're paying somebody else to get rid of it so they don't have to pay those monthly maintenance fees. So that was another lie. And then the last lie, so we got home November, got set up, and I'm already frustrated and fuming about this whole experience. And we haven't even been able to use it because it doesn't start till January 1st. But we get our end of year monthly maintenance or whatever. The HOA got together, board, and voted for an increase in fees. That's right. Your fees, they do go up 5 to 10%. I think there's a cap on it, how much they can do in a year, but they go up. They went up in 2020, they went up in 2021, and they went up again in 2022. So now we're up like upper $60, which you might think is not that much. But I mean, every year for the rest of our lives and our kids' lives, if we own this, that maintenance fee is just going to keep going up and up and up. When I called, and when I got that bill or notification, I called Wyndham, and again, the person on the other line just busted out laughing when I said, hey, they told us, and I had written all of this down. I still have it in our file, in our folder, where I had taken notes, everything he said, and wrote it down. Maintenance fees locked in at 52, 58, or whatever it was. And the guy is there all along. Yep. So they're like, no timeshare ever. Like, they almost like were like, what kind of idiot are you to believe somebody that said that? But I mean, I took this guy for his word, and obviously, I mean, he knew what he was doing. Some of the stuff were just kind of maybe mistruths or whatever, but he sold us. You know what? I walk away now from it, and I tell people, if you go into one of these presentations and the salesperson's lips are moving, just assume it's a lie. Everything they say a lie. I mean, the nice guy told us about his kids and his family, showed us pictures and asked us about us and was interested in what our story was. But I'm sure, you know, commission-based, whatever he could do to close the sale. And then I learned here this week, and again, because now I kind of have this bias, are they lying or not? But they said this resort here in Wisconsin, they're salary, they're not commission-based. And I said, you're telling me you don't even have an incentive to close the transaction? And they said, well, no. I don't know whether I believe that or not, but I will say, because we had friends come up here with us this weekend, and they went through the sales pitch, and they got out easily. 60 minutes, 90 minutes. They said there wasn't pressure at all. Everybody was nice, respectful. So I guess that's pretty much what I wanted to share in this video. I'm sorry for being all over the place, because I've just did this entire video a few minutes ago, so I don't remember what I said and didn't say. Um, if you are thinking about getting into a timeshare, there are some advantages to it, and I'm going to go over that in the next video. How we try to make lemonade out of this disaster that we walked into. Uh, if you spend just 30 seconds on the internet, Google Club Wyndham. After we purchased and I started discovering these things, that's when I did my due diligence. I mean, you read about all the lawsuits that there have been. You read about all the complaints. You look at the Better Business Bureau, like F- rating. Just all this stuff that it's just an ounce of preparation on our part before we went in there. I think we would have been, like, we didn't go in there looking to purchase, but we were vulnerable as far as we could have been persuaded. And they did persuade us. Not at first with what they were offering, but eventually they did. Had I known now what I didn't know, I tell everybody, just stay away. There's ways to do it if you want a timeshare. That makes sense. But if you go take advantage of these free offerings, whatever they do, that's one other thing is they give you these free vacations, and they offer 2 of them to our friends. We were offered one before, and I'll just tell you this because you may not hear it anywhere else. So this bucket list, free dream vacation, anywhere, anytime, whatever, read the small print if they give it to you. They're You're not guaranteed the resort. Like, we were able to pick like Florida. I mean, you couldn't even pick like Central Florida. You could pick Florida, and then you had to give like 3 time frames, like, or weeks that you chose for a vacation, and you didn't know which of the weeks you were going to get. You didn't know what resort. You didn't even know what city you're going to be in. So that's not really a dream vacation to me. And on top of that, to redeem it, you had to pay a couple $100. I think it was like a $300 fee in order to redeem it. So again, it's all part of the technique. They want to get you in. They want to wow you. They want to convince you you need to take care of yourself and pamper yourself and splurge and all of this. And you're making a huge, huge financial commitment. You can get emotional. You can get pressured, feeling the time sensitivity to it, that we can only offer this today, and we've never been able to go like this low before. And my boss, I was able to convince him to approve it just for you guys because how much we like you, and anything they can say to get you to sign on the dotted line. Because once you're signed on that dotted line, the majority of the people, they aren't going to back out in the next few days. And once they get you past that 2-week time frame, you're locked in it. There ain't nothing you can do. Try as you might. There's no easy way out. It's going to, put it this way, it is going to cost you to get out of it. It may cost you hundreds, it may cost you thousands, it may cost you tens of thousands. But once you're in that agreement, it's done. So we regretted it. There's been there have been some positives. We've been able to get out of it, but we would never do it again. Not this way. Again, if they had just been upfront and honest with us, I don't think there'd be as much salt in my wound. I guess that's how the saying goes. Tell us about the fees. Tell us about the maintenance fees are going up. Tell us how many points we really need to stay somewhere. And then let us make an informed decision. If you go to one of the presentations, I will say this, and you are interested, it's a big decision. Ask them, hey, let me sleep on it tonight. You're here tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow. Let me sleep on it. Let me come back and make the decision tomorrow. Majority of them will be, oh no, this offer's only good today, or you have to do it now. A few of them will be like, hey, I respect that. I understand. And those are, the good people. Those are the ones that you would hope are being honest and straight with you. But don't ever make a big decision under pressure, ever, and in life, in anything. So all that's to say, I hope everybody gets something out of this. I hope I saved you from spending tens of thousands of dollars. Everybody, I was going to say have a good Christmas because it's almost Christmas time here. But have a good Christmas. God bless.